In the spirit of Vegas, not necessarily in this day and age that anybody needs to travel anymore to make a bet legally, but just in the spirit of Vegas, if we looked over the win totals for this year, has anything popped out at us? We did a win total segment, a few different ones in the last couple of weeks, and I don't claim to be any kind of guru when it comes to betting the win totals, but I think I've done okay.
Did I see Illinois at 7.5? If so,
over.
Yeah,
I was
sure.
going to say another writer who's in one of our chat threads is like, if 7.5, I don't know. I mean, it's probably adjusted since, but I mean, it was 7.5 at one point, and that's. I've gone through, and I don't have it in front of me, but I've done win totals of how I see the season playing out, which means it's not how the season's going to play out. But I'm pretty sure I had Illinois closer to 9.
I've got Nebraska in the playoffs. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that I'm not as high on Illinois as it appears most people are. Now, FanDuel, their latest is Illinois at 8.5.
That's what I'm seeing right here.
Yeah. So
that's a little bit more dicey. Now, I guess now as we're talking, I'll see if I can pull up my spreadsheet. I like to have these types of things done before media days, just so I can refer to it. Not that there's anything super official with it or whatever, but what do I have Illinois 9-3, 6-3 in the league.
Yeah.
Indiana's at 8.5.
I have Illinois 7-5, 4-5 in the league. So I don't know. I would have to Google Kirk Cignetti and find out who he is.
I got Indiana 9-3 this year, by the way.
I do too.
Losses at Iowa, Oregon, and Penn State.
I was a little lower on Indiana until I did a deep dive, and then their offensive line and a few other positions are pretty well stacked.
I have them doinking off their game to Illinois as well, and then they're always due for a road turd, and I have them losing at Maryland, and I know Maryland is not good, but that's where that fifth loss comes from for me.
Indiana, Illinois in the Big Ten opener. The winner of that game is going to get that kind of push. Like, okay, are they the final Big Ten seed in the playoff?
Somebody's going to be likely 4-0 after that game.
Although Illinois got a trip to Duke.
Yeah, how about Indiana dumping out of all future games against Power 4 competition, Virginia or whoever?
Okay, I understand backing out against Texas or Clemson or whomever, but why do you need to back out of the Virginia game and cost your athletic department $500,000?
There's no justification for it, but if it's a home and home, that you'll get 3 home games from the 3 home gates as opposed to the 1, so there's that aspect of it, but it's just a way to get more wins and negate any possible losses. And again, this is going to be a byproduct. A lot of people are going to be doing this if they go to the 5+11, where it's all a beauty contest. And so you want to look as pretty as possible. But then again, for Indiana, Cignetti can talk all the crap he wants, but he wants an easy non-conference because he knows that you start off with those 3 wins, and then you've got a pretty good base right there, because 9 conference games it's not a fun road, even in the little old Big Ten.
Yeah, well, if you can't beat Virginia, I got to think that your playoff chances might be a bit slim. Iowa 7.5, Maryland 4.5.
I think Maryland's under.
Maryland, I have at 3-9. Iowa, I have at 7-5. So I mean, I'm right there on the doorstep with Iowa. Maybe not quite as much with Maryland.
Yeah, that's what I have on those 2. I have Maryland going 0-9 in the Big Ten this year.
Whoa!
Wow, that's tough.
So that's it for Loxley. He's out.
I got them 3-0 in the non-conference with the Florida Atlantic, Northern Illinois, and Towson.
Yeah, the obligatory Towson game.
But they could lose to Northern Illinois. So
Embarrassing.
What a mess.
I get some easy shorts videos out of calling out embarrassing schedules across the country. So Maryland, they're done. I've thrown them out there. Yeah, that's pathetic. Michigan, 9.5.
Under.
I mean, yeah, I have them 8-4.
Under.
my question about Michigan is, where are the wins coming from? At Oklahoma, and maybe at Nebraska, at USC, at Michigan State. Like, these are some difficult road games for a program that has a young quarterback and a questionable offensive line. And that's even before the Ohio State game, which I know Michigan fans understand that they are going to win, but I would take the under.
Okay. I'm a little bit high on Michigan. I think they win 3 out of those 4 that you named on the road. Michigan State at 5.5.
Under just barely. I have them at 5-7, 2-7 in the league.
I have them as 6-6, but beating Michigan. So take one off there if you'd like.
For me, USC and Nebraska are the 2 most intriguing teams in the league. And Nebraska is at 7.5.
Yeah,
I'd say over. I'd say over on Nebraska.
I have Nebraska at 10-2 with
Oh, my
losses with losses at Minnesota and Penn State, wins over Michigan, USC. Like, their schedule is pretty easy. They don't have Penn State or they don't have Ohio State rather. So they don't have Oregon. It's manageable, but we'll see. I know I really also like Matt Rule, but we'll see what Dylan Raiola and that defense can do specifically.
I have them tripping out of the gate against Cincinnati and Kansas City. And that's not it. But then I have them winning their next 7 games in a row. So, I mean, it's not an anti-Nebraska sentiment. It's Dylan Raiola is still a kid. I mean, okay, he's a year older, but he wasn't infallible last year. I think that it's going to take a run of Akron and Houston Christian, in the next 2 games for him to get his footing right before the Michigan game, and then they have an open week, and then Michigan State at Maryland, at Minnesota, Northwestern before the USC game, which is their next loss. I think we're going to see some. I think we're going to see some progress from them. I think they're finally starting to turn the roster over, but I still don't think they have the Jimmies and Joes to compete at the top of the conference.
I lost track of this number I was keeping last year. Double-digit underdogs winning in power conference games. It was like 15-20. Those games are out there, obviously. It's just tough to find them. Tough to.
I remember one of them.
Yeah. One does stand out. Northwestern never gets any credit whatsoever.
Nor should they. I mean, not next year, or this year, I guess. It's going to be bad. I mean, David Braun was the feel-good story when he was able to get Northwestern really up off the mat after the whole Fitzgerald situation and those ugly allegations and so on and so forth. But that was an anomaly. That was not going to be the norm. And I think that it'll be interesting to see, with Northwestern spending all this money on the renovations or the complete redo, because they knocked it down, of Ryan Field, what kind of leash they have on David Braun, because it's going to be bad. That's my winless team in the Big Ten. I have them winning 2 of 3 league games. I have them losing at Tulane, but beating Western Illinois and Louisiana Monroe, and that's it, folks.
Okay, I'm not quite that bad on Northwestern, but close. I think I've got 3-9. They're the Buckeyes, 10.5.
Damn.
I don't think anybody wants to be first because
Yeah, you
it's a
guys
matter
don't
of
need
if
to
you don't say
unveil any
12
kind
and
of
0, you're fake ass Buckeye, fake as hell. And if you come in and you are overly negative, you're fake ass Buckeye, fake as hell. So I think we're all kind of staring each other to see.
Well-
Going 12 and 0 is really, really, really difficult. Ohio
Yeah.
State was the national champion, was playing the best football over the last 4 weeks or last 4 games of the regular season, and that team lost 2 along the way. So, I have them going 11 and 1. The one that I have them losing is not going to be the one that most people will pick, and I have them losing at Wisconsin. I don't think Wisconsin's any good this year, but I just think that with what's coming on out of that, they'll play the stretch of at Washington, Minnesota, at Illinois. They'll have an open week on the back end of that with the Penn State game. I think that's the game that is most susceptible because I don't believe they're going to lose to Michigan this year. You can clip that and quote that, and I mean, I'll look smart or stupid. I mean, that remains to be seen. But 11 and 1 is what I've got.
I think 10 and 2 is very much within the realm of possibility. And what the two are, maybe Texas, maybe Wisconsin, as you said, those kind of stick out to me a little bit. Maybe Washington, although I don't think Washington's going to be that great either. But it's just such a difficult trip all the way to the West Coast. But yeah, there's something in there, could crop up. I mean, maybe Brett Bielema's got something for him. He found a way when he was at Wisconsin to beat Ohio State with, some I wouldn't say regularity, but he did do it a couple times. So I don't know. It's a tough call. I think it's 10 and 2, 11 and 1. You can flip a coin between the two of them, honestly, and make a case either way. I think with a new quarterback, you lose a game somewhere in there that maybe you weren't expecting to lose a game. Having Texas and Penn State at home is great. I mean, they're 1 and 2 on a lot of people's polls, and that makes for a great home schedule, certainly, to have that caliber of teams coming in. But it's also a risky proposition as this year the Penn State finally breaks through and beats Ohio State. They're not going to go winless forever against Ohio State. They're going to beat Ohio State one of these years. And could this be that year? I don't know.
Ohio State also goes to Purdue, and we know what happens at Purdue. But I think even the odds say it, under is the better pick. And we saw last year's team go 10 and 2, and they were the best team in the nation. So, to think that this team couldn't, even though this team's going to be favored in every game they play right now, so they should win all of them. But the shoulds only bat about 800. So I would go under, but I'm not going to pick which games because I think you guys have said them all. There's probably 5 games on here that could be, prepare your anus type of things.
Pepper.
For your Angus.
Oregon at 10.5, despite all their personnel losses.
Under 9 and 3.
I'm 10 and 2.
Yeah, I'm 10 and 2 as well, with losses to Penn State and Washington. They got a pretty good schedule.
Yeah, that's what I have as well. But both of those on the road.
They were on the tightrope so many times last year and wriggled off the hook, and I just think that's going to come back to bite them this year, and maybe lose 1 or 2 of those. Could go either way type games. I think. Dylan Gabriel isn't walking through that door. So,
that's the thing. Like the game against at Wisconsin last year, I think they won 16-13. Could very well see them losing that at Iowa this year, where it's just one of those gross, ugly things, and you get dragged down into the muck, and you just don't make the play that you did last year.
20-19 field goal at the gun, and Iowa has done it. And there'll be free beer for everybody in Iowa City tonight.
Penn State. Now, if I could ask anyone anything at Big Ten Media Days, I think I would go Petiti first, but then I think I go James Franklin, and I want an honest answer in regards to who's to blame for losing big games? Is it that our talent is excellent, but it's not quite, and so it's all on the players? Or am I looking myself in the mirror in his heart of hearts?
Well, and don't you have to coach around your talent? And if you know you have some shortfalls, then you've got to have the game plan to deal with that. And maybe they didn't, has he not done that very well? But I think there are some talent deficiencies. We saw that with the passing game last year. When you've got to do so much with Tyler Warren, including putting him in the backfield, and when your entire, I've said this for years, like if your number one option is your tight end, your offense is in trouble. And that's whether that's the Georgia Bulldogs with what's his face a few years ago, or the Miami Hurricanes with Kellen Winslow. It doesn't matter. Like if this is your number one option, then your other options aren't very good.
Iowa all those years.
Yeah. So I have them at 11-1 because their schedule is really good. They get Oregon at home. I think they'll win that. Their non-conference is Nevada, FIU, and Villanova, which is gross. Their tough road games are UCLA, Ohio State, Michigan State, and Rutgers. They're going to be favored in every game except for the Ohio State game. So, not even James Franklin could screw up this one. Take the over.
10-2, Penn State losing at Iowa. That's going to be one of those Kinnick Magic nights, and then at Ohio State. So they'll go loss, open week loss, and people will be losing their ever-loving minds before the team runs off 4 straight to get to 10-2, 7-2, and according to my rankings and everything else, I guess miss out on the playoff because they would lose the head-to-head to Oregon.
2 Magic Kinnick nights this season, Oregon and Penn State. Can we have 2? They don't get 2 per year, do they?
They're not worth 2.
Keep an eye on the Iowa offense this year. I'll say that. I think they'll be better. So maybe if with an offense, they could have 2 rather than just the 1.
They were better last year for them.
Well, not good, but better. Maybe they'll be good this year. Get back to the Drew Tate, Brad Banks years. Ricky Stanzi.
Oh, is Purdue worth talking about? 3.5. And
I have them winning 3, but I have them finishing tied for 16th with Maryland. So, I mean, they're not – I don't have them Northwestern bad, but I know Vegas does not like Purdue 1 iota.
Well, they've got a trip to Notre Dame, non-conference, so there's a loss outside the league. And then does it really matter? You got to look for them more, not who they're going to lose to, who are they going to beat. I guess it's a trip to Northwestern. It's Rutgers at home.
Yeah, not looking good. I would take the under.
UCLA's an interesting situation. They played some pretty decent football after that rough 1-5 start last year. And, of course, Nico Imalieva is running the offense.
They have a lot going for them out there in Los Angeles. USC is here. I mean, there's so much going on out there.
Yeah, I'm not very bullish on the Bruins, and I think it really just comes down to their schedule is not friendly to them. And all right, they open with Utah. I know that 17th year senior Cam Rising is no longer in the building, so they don't have to worry about that. But I think Utah gets them, and then the losses I have home against Penn State, and I understand that going cross country and playing that game, the record was really bad for the team traveling 3 time zones and everything else, but there's just such a disparity. I think, at Michigan State, I didn't give that to them. At Indiana, I didn't give that to them because they're traveling, and I don't think they're good enough to be able to deal with that. Nebraska, Ohio State, Washington, USC. It's just shaping up to be a 4-win season.
Yeah, Utah actually brought in the Mountain West Conference first-team quarterback from last year from New Mexico, Devin Dampier. So a lot of people like Utah coming back bouncing back this year. USC at 7.5.
Over. I like the over.
Over,
on
I
that one.
guess.
I have them winning 9. I have them losing at Illinois, at Michigan. No, I didn't do my math right. Maybe I have them at 8. Yeah, I have them at 8 and 4. So maybe I don't like them as much as I did at Illinois, at Michigan, at Notre Dame, at Oregon. I just don't think SC is going to do very well on the road.
That's 4 tough road games.
And finally, we got 2 more teams. Yeah, forgot about Wisconsin. Jetfish in Washington sitting at 7.5.
That's tough.
I'm very bullish on Washington this year, but with that being said, I have them as a 9-win team, dropping to Ohio State, at Michigan, at Wisconsin. I think that they've got some of the best players that rank and file Big Ten fans have not been talking about, which is fine because there are a lot of West Coast type of players that have not been on the radar, but I think they're going to be sneaky good.
I wouldn't touch this one because I'm I like them, but I think their schedule is pretty tough. I am interested to see their offense, and I know they've got a couple of good defensive players. Ohio State better be aware when they go out west for this one. I'll just say that.
Agreed.
And Steve, you agree about Wisconsin being a trap game for the Buckeyes?
Yeah, no doubt. Anytime you have to go up there and play, presumably a night game, it's going to be a tough one. Over 5.5. I mean, they just gave Luke Fickell a big contract renewal off what was kind of an underwhelming season. I think that they need to do well this year, and again, they're going to have to ride that home field advantage that they have. As far as they can take it and steal a few on the road as well. But it is hard to move up in this league if you don't have dynamic players and difference makers. You're going to have a real hard time moving up in this league. So the talent is just too much at the top. And Wisconsin just hasn't been stockpiling it like they probably should have.